Good morning, good day and good evening. Stefan, Fiskeshopen, Mörrum. I'm gonna tie a fly for you, and it's a fly from our new book. This fly is a favorite fly from a very good friend of mine, Magnus Olsson, local guy from Mörrum. The fly is called KHK13, and this name comes from I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 1998, but it doesn't matter. Karl-Heinz Kleine, a well-known angler, fisherman, he caught a big sea trout with this fly of 13 kilos. It's a pattern that Ulsil he invented, and because Karl-Heinz he caught that fish, the fly was given that name. It's a very popular fly in Mörrum all season, and you can vary it in so many sizes and versions as well. But the main thing to this fly is the color of the dubbing. This is a dubbing that we make ourselves from a secret recipe. No, but it's all about the dubbing in this fly, really. This version here is a opossum Zonker version, and I think I'm just gonna get started here. As you see, I have prepared my 1.85 millimeter plastic tube. I have burned a small collar here in the front. I very often do that when I tie salmon flies, so yeah, I'm gonna keep within this space here. And I've glued a 10 millimeter US tube for balance and weight in the fly. Gonna wind some thread, something around here. Gonna leave this part of the plastic tube here as a spot for attaching your hook guide. I think it's called hook guide, but you know what I mean. This little silicone rubber thing you have in the end where you put your hook in. I'm gonna start out by using some fluorescent red yarn. As you see in so many flies, this just turns up at the end of every fly. And we're just gonna build up a nice red bud here. Something like that, it's okay. Grab it, turn this one over, secure it, boom. So we know it's gonna stay there. And now we're gonna choose an, I have these pre-cut opossum Zonker wings here. And it's gonna be a little different than normally we would probably just tie it in up here and like have it loose hanging and everything. But we want the silhouette of the fly to be steady. It's a fly we're gonna use for nighttime fishing for sea trout. So therefore I'm gonna tie it in at the end of the Zonker wing here, and I'm gonna find a place where I can divide the hairs from the leather a little bit so it doesn't look too weird. Something like this here maybe. We'll see. It'll probably be alright like this. Here you really want to like make sure it's quite hard attached to, because when we come up at the ending of the fly, we're gonna pull really hard in this Zonker strip here, so we get a really good attachment. I'm just gonna have a look here to see that. Gonna get some kind of nice silhouette here, which looks okay. We'll fix it in the end, no matter what. So, yep. And then we're gonna get down to the funny business, dubbing. And it's all about the dubbing. This fly. And now it's not the saying less is more, now more is the best. But build a nice fat body of this dubbing here. As you see, I pulled the thread in through the dubbing also. I'm not gonna rip this fly with any ripping or anything. I'm just gonna get pure dubbing all the way. And actually, these flies with all these dubbings on the body, they tend to be better and better the longer you fish them and the more fish you catch with them, because the teeth of the fish is gonna tear up the dubbing, so it looks really nice. Just seeing, so everything looks okay. I'm almost getting to the end part here. So now we're down on the tube here. So before I take and bend this over, I'm gonna put a hackle on the fly. Wait, not this one. That was a volunteer. Rooster cape. Now I'm using here. It's the reason why I do this is like it gets a little bit of lifting effect on the wing, but it also looks nice for the whole silhouette of the fly, and it makes some nice, probably adds a little bit to the turbulence, or what can you say, the movement in the water, mostly the silhouette. And as you saw now, I put my fingers over the plastic tube heads because the needle is it's short, but it's not super long. And when we have a long tube on, if you just tie like this, you see I'm bending the tube. And sometimes when I pull as hard as I do when I tie materials, you can bend or sometimes even break the tube, and that would just be a pity when you spend so much time. So like, get a hold of it here to keep it steady when you tie materials in really hard. Then we just take some wraps around with this one here. So, and now we come to the exciting part of this fly here. I'm pulling quite hard right now, then I'm gonna find a place where I can get it in. I'm just gonna make two loose wraps with the thread, just to see where I am really. It's better to spend some time doing this than rather just like getting sloppy and go quickly through. So you can still do some pulling here, but we're gonna lock it. When we see this fly from above, we're gonna see this silhouette tapering that I'm talking about, that I want. Maybe it could be a little better. It's okay. So I'm gonna cut off the rest of the leather from the Zonker strip here. So, and now we could add a little bit of flash to the wing. Actually, just gonna take what I have here, little copper, some gold and stuff here. And always remember, the more flash you tie in the beginning, the easier it is to take something away. If you tie in too little, it's too late when you take the fly off the vise, because you cannot add it afterwards. So always put a little bit more flash on maybe than than what you would have done, just because you can always trim it afterwards. And let the scissor glide through the flesh. Don't cut it straight off. Like let the scissor glide through, so you get a little taper to the flesh. So they have different lengths, then they have a better movement in the water. So a little bit more flesh that I would probably go with in the beginning, but as I said, you can always peel it off afterwards. We are almost at the finishing point for this fly, but we're gonna put on a nice hackle and some other stuff. Here I'm gonna use a soft hackle. And I want a nice bulky one there. It's got a really nice shine to it. This feather, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it at least, and it looks quite nice. I'm just gonna run my fingers through to get them working. Spread them a little bit, the fibers. Leave it right there. So now we're gonna, this is optional of course, but put on some jungle cut cheeks. Always looks nice. I need to find its twin, and I think this was the twin. Oh, I'm really messing it up here. There you go. This is of course optional, but I think it really makes the fly look a little extra good. I'm gonna trim off a lot of the fibers around so it gets like this. So I'm gonna start on the side here where you can't see it that easily to begin with. It's always the easiest part, putting on one side, and then you have to match it on the other side with the same length and everything. Then it's an advantage to have your self rotary vise, because you can easily have a look on the other side. Too much. I'm okay with that. Next I probably forgot to say this, but this fly is very good for fishing in May for fresh run salmon. That was a hard thing to say. But it's a very good fly, especially in the early hours of the day and the evening. What I'm really doing now is just like building my head here a little bit with some thread so it looks nice and neat before I just tie a couple of... I was gonna say some easy knots, but it looked a little bit more complicated than it was. Just one more, just to be there. And now it is ready for some varnish. Always varnish at least 3 times. It's better, you have a much more durable fly, it's gonna last longer. This is KHK13, as we say in Sweden, or KHK13. Very, very well-known fly from Mörrum, and you can fish it the whole season through. This is an opossum Zonker version. And you can always trim the flash. I put a little extra in. But this is it.